It's scary the number of reports we hear on the news on a constant basis of domestic violence or of sexual assault or of rape. And how often do we hear a news story, a woman's body has been found in a house somewhere? Or we hear a report from a court case about a rape trial and, or a sexual abuse, especially children's sexual abuse crime. And the warning is the content will be disturbing. And we have to recognise we are only hearing about the most severe cases. We're hearing about where there's a death of a woman or where there is an actual court case. Most cases do not even make it to court. Most cases, the perpetrator is known to the victim or survivor. Most cases are women. And the most concerning thing about this, I suppose, is the lack of data. I mean, we don't have any clarity if the greater demand on frontline services is as a result of greater amounts of violence or greater reporting and disclosures. I mean, Women's Aid had over 40,000 disclosures of domestic abuse against women and children last year. Dublin Rape Crisis Centre, over 18,000 contacts in relation to rape and sexual abuse. People need support because we don't know many of these cases are going on to the guards, many of them actually make it to court. But they need support. And again, the refuge spaces in this country are at an all-time low. We have 9 counties still without a refuge. 2 of those counties are the 2 counties I represent, Cavan and Monaghan. Even where there are counties with refuges, those refuges need investment. There's been 10 years of no investment. They need to expand their services. They need to update their services. What's also of concern is the pay and conditions of workers in those sectors. They were Section 56 workers. They've now moved to Cuan. But the first pay increase they got since 2008 was last December. I mean, if those professionals are not paid properly, they cannot stay in that job because they have cost of living pressures like the rest of us. But we need people with the proper qualifications, with the empathy and with the right attitude to work there. And they have to be paid properly. That's something that I know Safe Ireland are doing work on this, and that has to be something that's implemented. In relation to the legal system, I mean, the Criminal Justice Miscellaneous Provisions Act of 2023, it's still not commenced. I mean, to give much-needed civil orders against stalking, so that needs to happen and commence as soon as possible. I referenced last week in the case of a rape trial, the victim must give evidence, but the accused doesn't have to. He has a choice. That's totally wrong. I welcome, Minister, that you say you are working on changing the legislation on the use of counselling notes, because it has been changed in Britain, and I know the Taoiseach gave a commitment it's going to be changed here. That needs to happen as soon as possible. It was totally wrong from the start. It's absolutely outrageous it happened at any stage, but I would welcome the fact that that could be changed as quickly as possible. Women still have limited access to legal assistance because there's no very few solicitors actually operating within the civil legal aid system. I've frequently come across cases where women have had to leave the home, often fleeing with children, maybe living with a family member, left the family home because they're afraid of the partner. The partner's working, has access to finance, can employ a solicitor, and his partner has very little option and goes into court. She's at a disadvantage again. Also, just on the issue of maintenance not being paid, it's been used as a form of abuse against partners as well. I was talking to a woman yesterday where her former partner, former husband, is working, can employ a good solicitor, doesn't pay her maintenance. She brings him to court, he pays it once or twice, then doesn't do it again. I mean, that has to be addressed again. If somebody is found guilty of not paying maintenance once, there has to be consequences of that. They shouldn't have to still go back to court every single time. Some references have been made there about the regulation of certain professions, and I absolutely agree. Psychologists are not regulated, and that needs to happen as well. And I know there was a comment made yesterday about somebody who's driving a bus here needs to be vetted. Actually, I came across quite a disturbing case that if you drive a bus for a private operator, you don't need to be vetted. And I'm aware of someone who is driving a bus and bringing children from place to place, and parents assume that they are vetted, and he's not, and there are concerns about some of his past conduct in relation to children. So I just say, Minister, I will commend you for working closely with services and advocates to deliver the most comprehensive strategy we've had to date and the accompanying implementation plan for the first time, but it needs to be funded, or otherwise it just becomes another document on the shelf.